Hi everybody, welcome to SSB Tales and also welcome to the Lecturette series where we cover the recently asked lecturette topics in various SSBs so that you have enough of content to speak continuously for 3 minutes. So the topic that we have chosen today, it is proxy war, and it has recently been asked in SSB Prayagraj. So we are going to understand holistically about this particular topic. But before that, here's a request, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel and also press the bell icon so that you can get the notification of all the new updated videos on our channel. So let's talk about this particular topic and see that how are we going to cover it. We'll start off with understanding what is a proxy war. Okay, we will understand its definition and then we will look at some examples also, some examples in the past, some contemporary examples to have better clarity that what is this proxy war all about. Okay, after that we will understand that what is the motive or what are the motives behind a proxy war. Okay, what are the possible methods, ways by which proxy war is conducted, and ultimately a way forward, a solution to it, right? Starting off with the definition proxy war. So here, before letting you the know the definition, I want to give you an example for so that you have the clarity. Okay, for example, there is A country and there is B country and they have the rivalry. Okay, so in proxy war, what the A country is going to do, it is not going to directly confront or it does not going to have a direct military confront with the B state or B nation. What it will do, there is a C, it can be a country or it can be there are some rebellious groups also that exist in the country, right? So it can be a separate C, can be a separate, it is a separate entity. It can be a separate country or it can be a separate rebellious group that exists in the B country only. So in proxy war, instead of direct confrontation, what A will do, A will provide funding and various other support to the C entity, and then C and B are going to fight, right? So this is known as proxy war. So what is a proxy war? It is the conflict that happens between two opposing powers. In our example, it is A and B, and they do not directly do the military confrontation, or they don't directly come to the war, but they use a third party. It can be a separate nation or it can be any rebellious group that exists within the country only, okay, as a substitute for fighting with each other. So this is known as proxy war. Okay, and the most important, you can say, characteristic of a proxy war is that it is indirect in nature. Okay, it will not be here directly, war will not take place here. Indirectly, the intentions will be fulfilled. Okay, so this is your proxy war. Okay, I hope you don't have now any confusion that what is a proxy war. Okay, and this is done so that you have a clean image in front of the world, but still you are fulfilling your intentions, right? For example, as you can see in the picture, that how, especially if you look at the civil wars that happens, right? So here what happens, these are backed up by superpowers and for their intentions, but ultimately the countries are not involved, but it's the local community, the people, they get involved, and they are the one who actually get affected at the humanitarian ground as well, right? Now talking about some examples that we can see, the first one can be during the Cold War. Okay, so during the Cold War, USA and Russia, they tried to establish their dominance to the different part of the country. Okay, so it is, if you look at this Cold War one, so this conflict proxy war, it actually originated because of the differences in ideology, right? Where your Russia, it believed in communism, your USA, it believed in capitalism, right? So to provide this to have this dominance all across the globe, so during Cold War, USA and Russia, they were involved in a lot of proxy wars where they engaged with the various countries, and indirectly they try to bring them into the fight so that their ideology can be called superior in the globe. Okay, another, if you look at want to look at the contemporary example, तो जो आपका सीरिया का केस है, Syrian war, जो आपकी civil war, this is one of the example of proxy wars where Israel, USA, Turkey we have, right? There are various the local terrorist groups. All these are we have then Russia also. These are the ones which are actually, they are boosting up the fight by providing with the funding, by providing with the training. But it's actually the Syrian civilians, they who got impacted and are still getting impacted, right? So contemporary example maybe we have Syria, and the best example of course it could be our case, okay, of India's case. If you look at how we know that Pakistan, what Pakistan is doing to Kashmir by providing them with all the warfare instruments, by providing them with the training, by instigating the youth through the social media for fighting against our own country, right? So all this what Pakistan is doing, it is also the proxy war, right? And in fact if you talk about China also, China is investing a lot in Pakistan, right? It is building infrastructure in Pakistan. It is helping with the you can say the military development there, right? The arm force development over there. Why is it all doing that? Because Pakistan ultimately is going to utilize whatever be the weapons have been bought, whatever be the help, financial help that has been given to attack us, right? So that is why this case can also be seen as a proxy war. Okay, so these are some of the examples I've given. However, a new school of thought is emerging which is saying that is proxy war always bad, right? Why? Because if one more example of us only, if we see that how we helped the liberation, and finally how Bangladesh it got set up, it is also a form of, it can be to some extent called a proxy war. Because here India, it was not initially, it was engaged in the fight, right? It was not one of the player, it was between East and West Pakistan, but somehow we got involved and we helped the West Pakistan to get the liberation, right? So is it a proxy war? Now to some extent many scholars do say so, because but here it's been said that the question that arises is that some ethical some such proxy wars can be ethical, right? So this is at very nascent stage, this school of thoughts. That is why I would not recommend you to speak in in your lecturate, but maybe if in any interview, if a discussion it happens, right? So there you can add this viewpoint that school of thoughts are still running. And when a proxy war can be called ethical, right? So first it can be that when one of the entity involved, it directly asked for help, and here we were directly asked for help, right? And second case is that if the proxy war that is being doing, that is to protect the human rights. And here if you look at it, India, it never instigate the false reason for fights, right? It has, even if it has always come in front of war, that is to protect the people, right? Protect the rights of humans. And here in this case also, we came up to protect the, we came in front as a humanitarian aid, right? We took part in the war because we were asked to do so. And that is why this can be, if even if anybody calls it the proxy war, but it is on the ethical end that we have. Okay, now let's see that why these proxy wars they are conducted. So what are the motives behind it, right? So what is very simple, that your ideology should be much acceptable across the world, right? Apart from that, see, if there are some strategic interests, right? For example, I'm a country and I know that in certain in a certain other country there are a lot of natural resources that are present. So I would want to have some dominance over in that particular country so that I can milk the benefit, right? So what I will do, I can engage that country with some other country war in which they are in conflict with. Okay, so here that particular country will get engaged in a war, and then they would require money for war, right? So then they would have to sell their resources. Then these dominant superpower countries, they will come forward, who have actually initiated the proxy war, and they would buy the material at very cheaper cost, and in this way they would have the benefit, right? Apart from that, geopolitical positioning, definitely, that who, which country will be the superpower, that is one of the reason why these superpowers they get engaged in such politics, local level politics, where they were not required and they were not asked for. And definitely ideology influence also, the same example, for example Cold War may we have seen, right? The capitalism, communism, all these ideology, what is your ideology? If your ideology is accepted by many, so it is considered right, right? So to have that particular motive, and not only this geopolitical reasoning or resources ideology वगैरह के लिए, but apart from that, even for the economic concerns also, right? For example, proper trade route stability है कि नहीं है, preventing rivals from acquiring strategic partnership, right? For example, if in a particular country there are a lot of dominant resources that are present, right? I am A country, there is another B, my rivalry B country, right? So I would want to get engaged here first before B rivalry can come, B country can come, and they can get engaged with this particular country, so that the resources can be I can keep my resources safe, right? Or their resources I can buy it afterwards, right? So there are two motive, the if you have to say broadly, so these are the motives, right, where strategic interests are there, so that for example, access to resources, geopolitical positioning, ideology influence, or it can be the economic concerns as well. Now how is this project proxy war done? So okay, so it can be done by providing military aids or armed support can be provided, logistic can be given, right? Apart from that, training can be provided, okay, sometime political and diplomatic support can be provided, right? For example, abhi जैसे मान लो भी there is some a country, okay, and B country want to B is a superpower, okay, so what it will do politically or whenever it is required, right? So they are going to promote a country, right? Because B wants to have dominance in a country, and B want to initiate a proxy war, okay. So in that case, what B will do, even at the international level, for example, if you look China, wherever it is even unnecessarily unnecessary conditions are there, it protects Pakistan, right? So that is one of the case कि जहाँ पे political और diplomatic support provide किया जाता है at international stage, okay. Training दी जाती है, ठीक है, intelligence and surveillance, and in fact with now when we have these social media sites with us, so cyber operations, ठीक है, now internet is accessible to all, right? So cyber operations are also conducted where hacking can be done, right? Where the manipulation of the people, citizens can be done as per their ideology, right? Sanctions can be put, for example, now again, now a country, so there is a let's say D and B are superpowers, okay, and B and A country, what they are doing, D and B were superpowers, and they are engaged in proxy war, which is happening between A and B, right? So what B will do, it will impose sanctions on B so that their position can be weakened, right? And then who will have the edge? A country will have the edge, right? So these are, I hope these are not getting very confusing for you. I have made the PDF. If you'll read it, you will get better clarity, right? But however, I hope you understand that how sanctions can also, it can be a sort of method of proxy war, right? Apart from that, क्या है, कुछ covert operations हो सकते हैं. Means covert operation means you have gone, espionaging can be done, right? Or maybe any such coverted military operations can be run, right? So these things can be done, ठीक है. Logistic support provide किया जा सकता है, economic pressure can be, ये सब चीजें दिया जा सकते हैं, right? Instigating the psychological operations can be done, right? So these are some of the methods of proxy wars. And now coming to the way forward, right? So even before understanding way forward, which I hope now you have the clarity that you know, the countries, they would have to come together for the on the basis of humanitarian ground, right? Because not everything is politics, because it is the local people that get suffer and they are burned out in this war between the bigger superpowers, right? But the biggest challenge that we have today, that whatever be the external entities that are involved in these proxy wars, they have their own greedy interests, they have their selfish interest, and because of that reason they are even ready to compromise with the peace of the world, with the peace of that particular country, right? And in fact, these wars that happens at a very local level, it multiplies, and it exaggerate with time, right? And in the longer duration, if you see, then peace cannot be attained. For example, if in a certain country initially you have instigated a proxy war, even afterwards if the country, a superpower, backs out from it, but then they have done the instigation, and that because of that, the people, they have already started the war, right? So these are the things. As a, for example, abhi Hamas ka case le lo, right? Somewhere it was instigated initially, but now it's in their roots, right? Similarly, if we currently look at, even though the conditions have improved a lot in Kashmir, but recent, if you look at the recent incidents that is happening, right? So it's again the same thing, right? That sometime in proxy war instigation happens, but afterwards, even if they back out, then the war legacy, it will continue only, okay. So what is the way forward? So देखो, definitely the way forward is that first of all, we need to understand, it's very important for whole country to understand that now the politics, global politics is intertwined. It's not like that a state would have its individual politics. Now all politics are intertwined, and we have to be, in the longer run, be more diplomatic at national and international if we want that peace and a smooth transaction between the countries, you can say, or a smooth relation between the countries, right? So coordinated efforts are pretty much required at local and international level, with the focus on the conflict resolution, diplomacy, and with the basic ground in our heart that humanitarian relief should be provided, right? So that was all. So I've already made the content, written down, jotted down content in the PDF form, and this you will get from in on our Telegram channel, which is SSB Tales, right? And here we also provide quizzes and important current affairs for getting you updated for the SSBs and the written examination, right? So do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Telegram channel, and also the Instagram channel, where we provide funny content that is for your entertainment, right? So that is all in this video. If you want me to cover any topic, do let me know, and all the feedbacks are welcomed. If you want me to improve somehow, I would love to implement those feedbacks. So thank you everybody for watching, and all the very best for SSB.